So today's topic is what you need to unlearn in your training. Now, oftentimes bad habits, they are formed either by seeing people at the gym or seeing people online do these things. And in this video, I'm going to break down 10 of the bigger offenses that I see very, very frequently, whether that be in coaching with my one-on-one clients or online amongst my peers. Number 1, turning your squats into a hinge. Squats, hinges, completely different movements. A squat is vertical movement at the hips. A hinge is horizontal movement. Oftentimes, people will combine the two to make a really shitty RDL or a really shitty split squat or a good morning type movement. Yeah, there are people that'll say, I'm trying to take my quads out of it. Then just do a hinge. If you want to do a horizontal hip translation, then keep it a hinge. And if it's horizontal hip translation intended to be a hinge, then stop moving your hips vertically. Don't do a shitty half version of both. Number 2, slamming your knees against the ground when you're doing unilateral movements. This can be a lunge, this can be a split squat, this can be a step up. You don't need a tactical cue of your knee, your patella making impact with the ground. Stop that. It also, it is probably taking away from your ability to stabilize when internally rotated. So it's maybe why you're doing it. Maybe you don't know how deep you need to go. Look down and assess the front leg as you're traveling downwards and assess how deep that back leg needs to travel. Number 3, doing step ups, doing reverse lunges, step downs, whatever the fuck you want to call them, and using a box that is way too high. So the idea with any kind of unilateral movement is to focus on one leg. This escapes most people. Most people, when they're doing unilateral movements, are splitting their center of mass between the front and the back leg. Now, when we're talking about your center of mass, where your weight is deviating from one leg to the other, what happens is you lose tension in that front glute. So imagine if you're stepping up on a box and while you have tension in that glute, now applying force to that other leg, you don't have tension in that initial glute. Now you have tension in the other glute. If you're really trying to focus and make a unilateral movement truly a unilateral movement, then don't let your center of mass deviate unless there's a reason to do so. Number 4, unilateral movements. So split squats, a reverse lunge, squat pattern specifically with a barbell. So why this doesn't make a lot of sense or why this isn't advantageous. Your spine is fixed. So as much as you have different segments, cervical, thoracic, lumbar, your lumbar is going to follow where your cervical and thoracic go. Now, if you have a barbell on your back, right now your thoracic spine is going to be in extension. And this only increases if you're also looking up as you're descending. Not having good core bracing, not having good stability, positioning of the ribcage over the pelvis, so pelvic stability, is going to really significantly decrease your ability for force production, but also keeping tension in the target muscles. Instead, you could be using secondary muscles, which for a lot of you guys watching this, you're really fucking focused on glutes. So if you're not trying to recruit hamstrings, adductors, it's important to be really specific with that positioning, especially if you have this consistently in your program or if you're using heavy load. Use dumbbells. Dumbbells allow you to maintain a better position that's going to realistically allow you to internally rotate more so into that front, that working hip. Number 5, using spinal flexion and extension, really just extension, to create an active range of motion in a hip thrust. So you should be stable at the pelvis, meaning your core should be engaged, your ribs, they shouldn't be flared, they should be tucked in. If you are just dropping your ass down to get more range of motion for your hip thrust, you're not stable at the pelvis, you're limiting the amount of force production you can create, you're limiting the amount of tension you can hold in your glutes. You're also probably recruiting muscles that you're not intending to. Now, same thing applies if as your hips are moving down, if your upper body is going into extension, if you're looking up, if you're rocking back, you want to be a hinge, like an actual door hinge. You don't want to be slinky. Maybe that's a bad analogy. I'm trying to actually picture that as you want to have stability and be fixed. If you're not stable with the pelvis, you significantly lose the ability to load the target muscles. Hip thrusts in themselves, they create a lot of sensation when you get into the shortened position, which is the top. But the mid-range and lengthened, so going into the bottom and then coming back up, that is where force production is the highest. So if you want to get more out of your hip thrust, fucking lock down the ribs, the pelvis, have like good stability right here and be able to brace at the core and maintain that and use the weight that allows you to maintain the position. Number 6, reverse abductions on the abduction machine. So similar principle biomechanics is you need pelvic stability to create force and like to load the right muscles. And when you are like reverse cowgirl on the abduction machine, I mean, you're not stable. Like you're just not. And there are a lot of machines right now where that's how they're intended. Like I literally just saw a client who is using one, and it's fine if you can maintain like spinal positioning from top to bottom. It's fine if you can brace at the core, but your body shouldn't be moving up and down. Like you shouldn't be bouncing on the abduction machine facing away. It's not needed. It's not advantageous. Number 8, wearing really thick tennis shoes when you do lower body. You need to be stable. If that's the one thing that you take away from this video, it's that in order to create force, you need stability through the foot, through the pelvis, through the spine. If you are wearing an inch or half an inch of foam under your foot, you're going to have a really hard time creating full foot pressure. And creating full foot pressure, being able to flatten your arch, being able to maintain your center of mass and control it, that is what's going to allow you to load the target muscles. Having your center of mass in your heels, having it drift side to side laterally, a lack of stability is going to take away from your ability to maintain tension in the correct muscle groups, but it's also going to make it really hard to progress week to week because now we have something that is highly variable and ultimately affecting you biasing the correct muscles. Take your fucking shoes off. Take them off. If you're like very sensitive about germs, I understand that. Bring an extra pair of socks, put them on over your initial pair of socks, and then do your workout that way. I wear Jordan lows. I love Travis Scott's. That is typically what I train in. And on lower body days, I kick those shits off because truly it makes a difference. And if you haven't trained this way, take them off and see if by pushing your arch down, your foot down, see how it feels. See if it feels any better. I promise, I swear to God, it's 100% success rate. It never doesn't feel better. That's the rule for all your movements. If it's a machine and your feet are not planted somewhere, okay, then you keep them on if you want. Leg press, hip thrust, RDLs, split squats, take them off. Number 9, pyramid sets. Even if you're on drugs, don't do these. These are dumb. Don't do the 4 plates for 10, 5 plates for 15, 6 plates for 20, and then a 5 plates for 15, 4 plates for 10. Don't do that shit. It's dumb. It's so unnecessary in terms of volume. It's so dumb. If that's what's in your program, I can promise you, you are severely lagging in your ability to get to a close proximity to failure. You're probably so far from an RIR of 1 or 2 that you need so much volume to fatigue the muscles. Train harder, train better, get closer to failure, make it suck, fuck yourself up so that the next day you're like, I don't need 38 reps to fatigue my muscle. I can do it in 10. Be more efficient with it. Even on drugs, yeah, you can throw in some intensifiers, sure, but that shouldn't be the rep scheme that most of your movements follow. Number 10, pre-activation movements in order to get a pump. Unless you're a new athlete, unless you are very unskilled, many of you watching this is not you. You've been training glutes since 2015. You do it consistently. You know how to turn your glutes on. You don't need sets of 30 on monster walks or, kickbacks, superset with abductions before you do RDLs. If you want to drive sensation, be extremely specific with your pelvis and your actual positioning in these compound movements. That's how you secure a pump. That's how you get a pump early on in your workout, is you have the skill set and the ability to maintain the position that allows you to target these muscles. And if you don't know what pelvic stability is, if that doesn't resonate, if you don't know if you have it, if you don't know if you lose it, this absolutely will affect your ability to build if it hasn't already. Warm-ups, yes. Warm-ups encouraging better pelvic stability. Warm-ups encouraging hip stability. Absolutely. Especially if you're going into bilateral movements, you absolutely need to take an inventory of which hip is a little more stable, which one is lagging today. Pump chasing and spending a ton of time before your workout just to fill your glutes with blood. It's one thing to, warm up, and there are movements that will align you and put you in a better position prior to being under load. And yes, absolutely. but simply just driving high sensation. For many of us, we don't need that. And it's going to take a lot of reps and even weight to garner that same sensation. Use your warm-up sets. It's probably more likely you'll get better sensation, better muscle recruitment during these, but really these should be used as a litmus to understand what your stability is like so that once you're under load, you really know what you need to lock in around. Most mistakes in the gym come from ignorance. They come from bad habits. They come from being led by also the blind. Don't let this be you. Don't copy something. You see the girl, she starts the video, she pulls the leggings up her ass. Like, just be very cognizant of the people you're following for training advice. There is good advice out there. There's good information out there. There's just also so much more bad information. So really, if you're lost, if you don't understand these principles, biomechanics of training, this is a really good time to build an education and an understanding around it, especially if you're frustrated with your hypertrophy or lack thereof. This is exactly what I work with people on a regular basis. On a weekly basis, I am looking at their training videos and I'm reviewing specifically for these things: position, intensity, making sure that, they're safe and they're not going to injure themselves. But even more than that, we need to make sure that they're moving correctly with the right intention and they're getting close enough to failure for any of this to matter. If that's something that you're not getting with your current coach, or if it's something that you've never had with a coach, links to all of my services, coaching, consultations can be found in the description down below. As always, thank you guys for listening, and I will see you in the next one.